Gotta take a hit before. Okay, good start.
All right. Okay. You ready, man?
Yep.
Yeah, ready.
Hey, all. This is Mike,
And this is Paxton.
and welcome to the Mad LiberTEA Party, where up is down, left is right, the rum is always gone, and the world is full of clowns.
If you feel like the world's gone mad, then pull up a chair and we'll throw you a teacup, because we're all mad here.
And as always, madness is always more fun with friends. We have somebody special here today.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Introduce yourself, buddy.
My name is Kevin Hobbie. I'm the vice chair of the Oklahoma Libertarian Party. And I'm
Okay.
super glad to be on here. Thank you guys for having me.
We're really glad to have you as well. We've been, Mike, as soon as Mike heard about this, he was so hyped.
I was like, "Ooh, that's so cool!" So like, and I wanted to know more and more, but like now we're gonna actually get to know more and more. So this is good shit.
Right.
Usually, like, we like to start out simple and easy. I'm just gonna like ask you, like, what if somebody was to ask you to tell us who you were, like, what would you say? Like, tell us a little bit about yourself and where you came from and how you got here.
So my name is Kevin Hobbie. Like I said, I'm vice chair of the Libertarian Party, which really just means that I'm kind of a jack of all trades. I kind of fill in wherever, there's the chair does most of it. I come in and speak whenever called upon. One of the duties that I have is I've been setting up the convention that we're going to have March 21st and 22nd. So I've been dealing with getting all the presidential candidates and stuff like that, chair candidates, et cetera, et cetera. I haven't been a libertarian for very long. I'm one of the few that came from the left. And when I mean left, I mean way, way left. Extreme Marxist for a very long time. Young communist on campus, member of the Oklahoma Communist Party prior to kind of my transition out of that into libertarianism, into more, and really not a lot has changed as far as my views socially. I've always been extremely socially liberal, extremely progressive when it comes to that. The only thing that's changed is my acceptance of capitalism and things like that. I've kind of shifted more towards a free market capitalism of Milton Friedman type. And that's kind of what led me to the Libertarian Party. I was independent before, Democrat before that, but the Democrats really weren't they were not progressing the way that I felt that they needed to. So I went independent and then slowly kind of came around to the idea of libertarianism through Todd Hagopian. I don't know if you guys know him. He is.
Oh, we did.
Oh yeah.
We did an interview with him.
Yeah,
He's so
yeah.
cool.
So Todd's the man. Todd is the guy. He on my old Twitter handle, one of my friends had liked some of his stuff, and I started looking at him and was like, man, like this guy. I actually thought that he was more of like a progressive because I saw a lot of his stuff about immigration and gay rights and trans rights and et cetera, et cetera. And I really felt like, man, this guy, and then I saw, oh, well, like he's really into capitalism. And so then that kind of progressed. I got into a conversation with him, and that's how that transition kind of happened. Also, it happened because I was getting into the job market, starting to pay taxes, starting to pay a lot of taxes as I moved up and made more money. And I was like, man, like at first, I was a big social contract, like this is what we got to do for a civilized society. And then it just wasn't the same because a lot of my friends were losers and they weren't really paying as much in taxes as I was. And I just kind of saw like, man, this is what the system is. This is the way that it goes right now. And so I wanted to clean it up. And then eventually you just kind of abandon that thought of like, okay, well, this is just the human nature, and so that's kind of what led me there. So I became a little L libertarian, which just means you're kind of a libertarian that's not an active member of the party. I reached out to Todd, and Todd got me hooked up with Chris Powell when Chris was just coming out of running for governor of Oklahoma. And Chris got me hooked up with Chad Williams. Chad was doing his run for city council of the city of Choctaw, which he ended up winning. So I came on, helped him a little bit, and that's what led me into my first convention. And I got a wild hair and decided to run for vice chair and got nominated, and here I am. That was almost a year ago. And you know, we've won a couple of elections since then. Got a pretty good presence here in Oklahoma. We're still working out some kinks, you know, same kinks that everybody has, but trying to get more organized, trying to get a bigger growth. And one of the things that I'm really focusing on is, if you guys know Thunder, he's the Oklahoma Dylan Thunder, Dylan Hart. He's the leader of Y'all in Oklahoma. He's out of the University of Tulsa. So
What's
one of the
that?
big things that do what?
What is that? Y'all? What is
Y'all.
that?
So it's Young Americans for Liberty. It's kind of like the libertarian version of Turning Point.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, Michael talks about that all the time.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they're great. So what they are is, you know, part of the cultural Marxism, which one of the reasons why we've kind of lost out on that is kind of cultural Marxism has seeped its way into a lot of college campuses, and that's how we've got to where we're at, because, you know, Marxism couldn't really take hold in this country during the Red Scare, so most of them became scholars and things of that sort, and it just kind of progressed to that point. So now we have Turning Point, which Turning Point is more Trumpetarian, whatever you want to call them. Y'all is kind of the libertarian version of that. So you've got like Cliff Maloney. He's the guy that started it there out of Austin, but Dylan is the guy here in Oklahoma, and I've been trying to work with him about spreading that message to a younger crowd, because one of the issues that you're going to see is there aren't a lot of young people in the liberty movement. There's not a lot of that AOC type breath of fresh air. Everybody's kind of old and they're not paying attention to Gen Z. That's why Vermin Supreme is doing really good.
The Libertarian Party needs to get the heck off of Facebook. That's for sure. Like,
yeah.
There's a lot of people like that just don't know where to find. Speaking of which, I'm gonna ask you about that once you get. Or do you mind if I segue here to ask?
Yeah, we
you
can
a question?
segue.
When you were getting involved in politics or in the big L part, like, what is the process of doing that? Because that's where a lot of people are like, well, I want to do this, but they really don't know where to even start. And like, we keep having a lot of people come to us and asking for advice on how to get that started and stuff. And we're also kind of trying to figure it out a little bit. I think that we've got a better handle on it than most people though, but like, it's just nobody knows how to do it or where to get involved or how to find even their meetings.
Right. So that has been a big issue with a lot of the party, especially on the state level, because the state levels have been kind of dispersed and they have their own issues. One of the things that we've really been working on is kind of streamlining that process. So for anybody that wants to get involved, they can check out our Twitter, Instagram, of course the Facebook pages, but there's a million of those Facebook pages and everybody gets, you know, I'm a Twitter guy. I prefer Twitter. You guys can hit me up at Hobbie Real, HOBBIE. You can hit up the Oklahoma Libertarian Party at OKLP. As far as on the national level,
Get those links down in the bottom too there.
If I can, just from my own personal experience, because this is how I got involved with you guys. I think I messaged the Libertarian Party for Oklahoma, then they sent me to you or sent you my information, you contacted me, and the next thing I know, I'm in a Discord with you guys. I mean,
yeah.
It was very streamlined and easy.
Yeah, so one of the things that
nice.
we're trying to do is to make that process even easier by linking all of our social medias, because prior you kind of had like a Twitter guy and then a Facebook person and then an Instagram person. And when we came in, we were, because this body that we have right now, this XCOM is all new. None of us, with the exception of Chad. Chad was the treasurer before, and now he's the chair. But everybody else is new. We all came into this and have just kind of been trying to get it going. And one of the things is streamlining that and getting more involved in social media, especially migrating more towards the Twitter, the Instagram that the younger crowd is doing. I know that Vermin Supreme is killing it on TikTok. We are going to try and push that, but right now we're still trying to work out Twitter, Instagram, and stuff like that. Like if you see our Instagram, it's been pretty hit and miss, and that's my fault. I'm in charge of that, and I just haven't really got a handle on it.
You got to get like a 15-year-old in there. That's what you
I know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to get. So if anybody is 21 or younger and wants to get involved, you hit me up on Twitter. And I'd love to talk to you, because we need some people that have a better handle on it. I'm pretty good at Twitter, like I said. We've also got Todd. Todd has the most followers of any libertarian, which is pretty crazy to think when you consider that he's from Tulsa. But he has more.
When we first started talking to him, I had no idea he was in Tulsa.
I didn't either at first. I hadn't noticed that little thing up underneath his name saying where he was at until I was like, wait, this dude's in fucking Oklahoma?
Yeah, it's crazy too, especially when you look at he has more than Larry Sharp and Gary Johnson and some of the people that have got a lot of media coverage. It's crazy to think that I think he's got 35,000 more followers than Larry Sharp.
He's got a lot of good stuff to say, and he's very good at putting it in a way that grabs people in the moment, and they want to share it and spread it around and converse about it or hate it.
Yeah, but either way, it's good. He's also really good, if you'll read through, he's really good at conversing with people when they're coming at him, especially he's really good at handling that hate. He's witty and funny, which is good. I was sad to see that his Bixby school run didn't go so well. I wanted him to, I was backing him in the race for the chair, but he felt like that was too much too quick. He hadn't been involved. Yeah, I love Todd. I mean, like I said, the only reason I say it over and over again, but the only reason that I got involved in this party was because of Todd. I mean, Todd's the man when it comes to that. I think he's led a lot of people to this party, and I think he does great things. I'm really glad to see that he's getting involved with us on a state level. And did I black out on you guys?
Yeah, you're back now.
You're back now.
Good.
I'm like, you're back now. You kept talking. You just disappeared.
Yeah, hang on one second. Actually, since I switched to my phone, I need to plug it in because I'm going to burn through this battery. That's what it was grabbing at me about.
I see.
Yeah.
I'm going to take all the extra battery packs and shit like that with me on Saturday.
What's going on Saturday?
That's the Arkansas Libertarian Convention.
Oh, you're going to be there.
Yeah, he lives in Arkansas.
Yeah, it's really hard to meet people because they're all on Facebook, and I don't like Facebook. It's really toxic, and most of the people that are on my Facebook I don't want to talk to anymore, and it's a place of huge negativity. And because of the way they deal with our data and our privacy, and they disrespect us as human beings, they're making money off of our shit, and you click it and everything like that, but I don't want to touch it. It makes me feel nasty to use it in so many ways. And so I had to actually break my rules and go back to Facebook because that was the only place I could find people. And then I found out there was a meeting, and I went to that, and I had already planned on going to the convention, but 2 weeks before the convention, I finally found a place to talk to human beings. And when I looked at there were some Arkansas Twitters and stuff, but they hadn't been active. Nothing had been active since 2016, and you know why? It's after that they became neglected though, and there's no way to find or reach out. And I'm just guys, we got to do this. I don't know what we need to do to get it done, but we've got to. I'm gonna help. I want to help if they'll let me. Hope.
Well, you need to run for an office and get involved.
That's what I keep telling him. He's a punk ass though.
Yeah, but I'm not really a politician.
Neither am I.
I'm kind of an asshole, and I look weird.
Well, that makes you. You'd be perfect for it.
Dan Berman's wearing a hat, the size of Willy Wonka, and you've got a guy with a boot.
Fine.
So, yeah, we also have a lizard running for chair.
Wait, we have a lizard
running for chair?
Wait, I want to vote for them. Where are they at?
You guys don't know about this.
No, tell us about the lizard.
We have a lizard. We have an iguana running for chair, and his name is Dulop, and he is an iguana, and he is running.
Hilarious. What are his points?
He's getting some votes. I don't know his points. I haven't paid enough attention, but
We need to get him on the podcast.
Yeah,
He's really
how do we
interesting.
get an iguana on the podcast?
But so yeah, there's a lizard running. I mean, there's a lot of goofy stuff that goes on within the party, and I think that you getting involved would be really great. I mean, you need to at least reach out and see if they need a social media manager or something like that, because I think that our future, one of the issues that we have a lot of is that we're not as active on Twitter and these things that, you know, Facebook is like my grandma's on Facebook, you know, and it's just not conducive to what we're trying to do. When you get on Twitter, you have a better interaction. Even Instagram, you can have a better interaction. Now, I'm not as big of an Instagram fan as some people. I know that that's kind of the hot thing right now is Instagram and TikTok, but I don't think that
I don't really
it's the
know
way
how
to go
do
as far as
Instagram. Like, I don't know what kind of stuff to put on it. I've got a young person who's gonna come do our Instagram for us, just like you.
Yeah. So see, yeah, that's what I need. I need somebody that's young, because like everybody that I know that has Instagrams, they're like, you know, Instagram models. And I tried throwing up some in like bikinis with like the ass shot and all that, and it didn't work out.
Let me pitch this idea to you. So I'm from a vocational school, Moore Norman Technology Center, and they have a social media thing there, like a social media team there that's ran by kids trying to get experience for marketing and stuff. So you think it'd be potentially possible for them to run something like that for you?
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, you could always reach out to them because they actually need intern hours. That's part of their class requirement is to go out and get intern hours. And so, I mean, they would love... Yeah, like I can get you in touch. It's the entrepreneurship program there, and they do marketing and all that stuff. And that was actually my teacher. So that might be
really.
Like it's exactly what I did whenever I was 16. I helped with a political organization post things on. I don't think Instagram wasn't big back then. I think we focused on Facebook back then.
Yeah.
But yeah,
when I was in high school, it was MySpace.
Yeah, I remember MySpace too. Did you have one? I had one that had the same emo music that everybody else listened to.
No
I thought it made me super unique.
If I did have one, it was totally probably covered in punk rock shit.
Exactly.
And rainbow sparkles at the same time.
My Chemical Romance and Green Day. That's all MySpace was.
Oh God! Back when things were hardcore, like Green Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you their information. I think that could be something that they would love to do, and you're kind of getting into that younger audience. Yeah,
I would love it. I would love it. So you did the entrepreneur program there, huh?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely loved it. I mean, the instructors there, I'm a huge advocate for vocational schools. I think it's one of the biggest solutions to higher education. And the Moore Norman Technology Center especially has some of the best people I've ever met as far as instructors and stuff like that. And especially the entrepreneurship program, because it's such a free-form class. And the teacher has so many years of experience doing this. I mean, she's been doing it since she was like, straight out of college. And yeah, DECA is a really big thing there, BPA, all that stuff. So they're involved in all those types of organizations. Marketing is a huge deal for them. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I'm big on the vocational schools as well. I think that what we're going to see in the next coming years, especially as, if you look at enrollment for college and stuff, it's kind of going down. A lot of people are entering the job market straight out of high school. I think that we're going to see a big revamp in that as far as that goes. I also think that we're going to see a lot of that in our own state. I mean, there's a lot of big pushes to open up charter schools, maybe some voucher programs and stuff like that. But I think that that's going to be one of the big hot topics over the next 10 years is going to be public schools and college and things like that, and how we kind of move forward, because we're basically getting ourselves into too much debt that we can't handle.
All these online schools and skill shares and stuff out there that people can use too. I've learned all sorts of crap from that stuff.
I mean, with the vocational schools, they might have changed it, but whenever I was going, you could go up till the age of 21 for free just like no money at all. You could go in there as long as you were hitting a certain grade point average, they would allow you to go there. And a lot of the times they're giving you certifications that you usually have to get on the workplace anyway if you were coming out of college. A lot of the times they're getting you directly in, like you have to go to a person that could potentially employ you to learn part of your trade, and so you're getting business connections there. And they're just more realistic as far as like the real world goes. Like they're all about like welding and nursing, computer programming, learning how to run businesses. It's just I don't know. I love everything about vocational schools. It's hard for me to find something to complain about with them.
Right. No, I think that they do a great service. One of the groups that I'm involved with, MSEPs, that's in a professional sense, not really a political, but they partner with Francis Tuttle.
Mm-hmm.
And we do a lot of stuff with them as far as coming in and showing them. So I don't know if anybody has told you this or not, but I'm a safety HSE professional. That's what I do. I do safety for oil and gas companies.
Oh, okay.
And so MSEPs, that's what they do. They come in and they provide services for companies to come in and kind of come in and be able to speak directly with OSHA and ANSI and things like that about the problems that they're having, but in a non-professional setting. So, you can kind of get this inside guidance about how to be within compliance without having to worry about getting huge fines.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's great. I mean,
I just cannot understand why people seem to think libertarians don't like education.
Well, I think a lot of that comes from the fact that we attack public schools quite a bit, government-run schools.
Well, I guess that's true. But it's specific. It's not like, oh, we shouldn't educate people or people shouldn't be educated. We want different options.
Right. Well, the school choice it's something that's really crazy to me, because you've got the government has pretty much cornered the market in this. They have a real world monopoly on this. And if you look at like Corey DeAngelo's, he's a great follow on Twitter. He's constantly calling people out, politicians who send their kids to private schools but then want to do away with voucher programs and things like that. I think that one of the big misconceptions is that we do attack public schools quite a bit, but it's kind of out of our own. We don't mean to attack them as vehemently as you would think, and it's not necessarily that we're against these public schools. If you look at the quality, if you have a public school. Well, if you have a public school and it's doing badly, it gets more funding. If you have a private school that's doing badly, it closes its doors. I mean, that's just the way it does. They don't have to compete. And so because they don't have to compete, they don't. I mean, they really don't. You look at a lot of the underprivileged kids, like if you look at OKC, for example, Moon Elementary is their scores are consistently low and they consistently get more money. And it just doesn't make sense, especially when you look at their rates of violence and their inability to keep these teachers. And so you have a school like John Rex Charter School. John Rex Charter School comes in and offers these people an alternative. They can go there, and it's extremely high rated. It's a wonderful school. They do a wonderful thing, and immediately they're attacked. I mean, immediately they're attacked, and they say, well, it's only for these privileged people, these high-income people, because it's built in downtown Bricktown. But if you look at their school zone, their level tier 1 attendance, like you're guaranteed to get in, it's like 80% of that Lincoln Terrace area, which is extremely low income, and it's just constantly attacked. I mean, when you see people like AJ Pittman, she's the House rep out of there. District 99 is that area, and it only has a little sliver of Bricktown. But if you'll ever notice, if you look at her Twitter, the only thing that she tweets about is people that are coming to Bricktown. It accounts for less than 2% of her populace, but that's what she tweets about. And then she brings out bills that, one of her big bills that she championed was bringing bottle service to the clubs that are in Bricktown, which doesn't make sense whenever nobody in your district brick town. I mean, most of the people there, you know, are super underemployed because a lot of that is zone residential. They don't have jobs there. The public transit that is available, like this trolley that we built for downtown during the MAPS program, it doesn't serve those low income areas. So these things, but most of that is coming from those people's taxes. So they're paying for things that they're not actually able to use. And everybody's kind of ignoring the fact that these people, their unemployment is extremely high, and their school is, their test scores, they're not getting the education that they need. And people are just kind of sweeping it under the rug, even their own reps. And so when you look at that, if somebody was to bring in a private school into that area, or even another charter school, the issue with John Rex is John Rex doesn't have school buses because of space. Basically, they don't have enough space to get them there. So these people that don't have vehicles don't have a way to get there. So they're kind of stuck with Moon because they have school buses and things like that. But if we were to put more funding into these charter schools and made them compete, then those people could get a better education to kind of get out of there, or maybe bring some jobs back into that area. And they're just kind of stuck in this vicious cycle that these government-run schools keep them in. You know, if you look at even smaller towns in Oklahoma, they don't have, I mean, if you look at like Atoka County, where I'm from, there's 3 schools in that county, 3 high schools. And that's it. Those are your choices. There are no private, no charter. None of those schools have to compete. And you're basically stuck with whatever school you have based on your zip code, which is crazy. You know, if somebody wants to drive a couple of miles to go somewhere else to get a better education, then why wouldn't we allow them to do that? But they could with a charter or a private school and things like that. And so we're always attacking these government-run schools, and people really hate that term, man. They really hate government-run schools, which is exactly what they are, but they call them public schools because they're publicly funded. But the issue with that is if you wanted to call them publicly funded schools, then you would have to set it up the way that we do with, like, say, welfare. Or like the SNAP program, food stamps. Those follow the people. They don't follow the restaurants. Like, how odd would it be if we had one food bank per county that just gave out all the food, and you could only get your food from there, and you couldn't get food from there if you didn't live within a certain district, and that was your only choice, and whatever they were serving, that's what you were getting. Didn't matter if you had a nut allergy or whatever. We think it's absolutely insane, but we do that with our kids.
Sounds like Soviet Russia.
Yeah.
Oh wow, red lines, yikes. Does not sound like fun to me. So like, one of the arguments that I hear people say when they come to stuff like this, and we're at this point in a discussion, is like, well, what about all of the like people who have like tried to come in and do charter schools and stuff like that to try and quote, make everything better, but then they fucking screw everybody over and make away with it. Like, how do you think people could stop that from happening better? How could we, you know, like respond to that with like a constructive answer?
I think that we have to look at it like we're also. Can you guys hear me okay without the mic?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're fine.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, we get that. We get that.
I'm not used to it, but
yeah.
So when we talk about things like that, right? What we need to start doing is a lot of people. We need to look at these like businesses. You know, we don't bring up. You can't say, well, you know, Bernie Madoff ran a Ponzi scheme, so he, you know, killed all these people's income by running this Ponzi scheme. So we should never invest in the stock market, ever. It's crazy.
That's usually kind of along the lines of where I go usually, but like I don't really know how to answer like how we could prevent it if they did though.
We would prevent it the way that we do most businesses. I mean, we would hold them to a standard that's set for by a conglomerate. I mean, you would have to, in an ideal situation, you would have these private or charter schools, and they would have to compete on the market. They wouldn't have. There's no other choice. So see, the reason why they're able to do that right now very easily is because everybody is clamoring to get their kids out of these public schools. And so they're willing to take whatever, and they're willing to pay whatever price without doing the research needed. So if you're the only option in town, then you can get away with stuff like that. But if you're not the only option in town, if you screw somebody over, you ever seen a Yelp review for a Chinese place that delivers the wrong thing? Think about that for a school. Mm-hmm. I mean, when you talk about it, the issue with that is that there's 500 Chinese restaurants in the OKC area alone, but there's 10 schools. There's just not enough competition. And once that competition comes in, you're going to see people are not going to be able to take advantage of it quite as much. Now, I'm not saying that it won't happen, but those schools will close their doors and people will be able to sue them. Because right now you can't really, if a school like that closes its doors, oh well, that was your choice to put your kids in there. And, we had this really good government school right here. But I think that as the competition improves, the market will improve. The market can kind of solve a lot of problems just because everybody's driven by a profit. And if they're not making a profit, if they're not providing a good enough product, they're not going to make a profit. I think that if you're explaining this to somebody who is, say, a leftist, right, and they are progressive, and we want to talk about government-run schools, well, I think that we have to do phasing with everything. You can't just snap your fingers and tomorrow in the welfare state and everything will be great. It doesn't work like that. We're talking about people have a crabs in the pot mentality right now. Everybody's trying to get out, and they believe that anybody that's getting out ahead of them or getting their kids into these better schools, well, they're at an advantage, and it's not fair. So I think that the first step in that is to run it exactly like we run the SNAPS program or food stamps or anything like that. I think that the government funding, if we're going to have government funding for education, it should follow the student, not the school. Your money should flow to, my son's name is Connor. Okay, Connor goes to a charter school, and instead of the money going to that school, it would be so much better if the money went to him and you got to take that voucher or that money to whatever school you wanted. It wouldn't set up by districts, and you would quickly see what schools are competing better than others because that's where people would take their money. And so I think that a voucher program is the first step in that, and then we can kind of go from there. But I think if you're talking to a leftist, you have to make that argument of, if we're going to fund public schools, wouldn't we want to fund it to the best of our ability?
I think you brought up a good point that I see quite a bit in the Libertarian Party. So, full disclosure, Mike, you usually identify yourself more as on the anarcho side of things, right? Mutualist.
Individualist at this point. I'm less.
Right.
I used to be a mutualist. I've kind of run around in circles around anarcho, all sorts of weird shit. But I've kind of settled myself in my old age.
Right.
Of wizened 36. I've come to see the world through the eyes of an individualist anarchist, yes.
That being said, one thing that really kind of disenchanted myself and Mike to the Libertarian Party is so many people seem to be, especially people in positions of authority in the Libertarian Party, have this mindset of it's all or nothing. Either we completely ban, whatever it might be, either we completely decriminalize weed, or it's nothing. Go the full 100 yards or don't even bother trying. So how do you think how do you think we can make that kind of difference with libertarians? There's so many pure libertarians and gatekeeping of libertarianism.
Well, I think
that's the problem with the anarchists too.
Well, fuck them.
I think that what we're seeing it more now, but I think that what's going to happen is you're going to have more people come in that are a little bit more of an incrementalist type mentality and are willing to do this 80-20 thing, and before, the Libertarian Party was so small and so fringe that you only had extremists. You only had these people that were all or nothing, and now you're getting people that aren't. I'm not the most libertarian to ever libertarian. I'll tell you that. I mean, I'm still in my journey, still in that. You know, the joke is, what is an anarchist? Well, it's a libertarian 6 months in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that we're going to see a move away from that. I think that, especially now, if you look at what is occurring within the party, there's been a big uproar about Vermin getting the nomination. You know, Vermin is killing it in a lot of the straw polls, and people are saying, well, you know, we're not going to be taken seriously as a party if we put him up, et cetera, et cetera. But there's a lot of people that realize that that is the end result of purity tests. That is the end result of, because Vermin is one of the most principled libertarians out there.
Yeah, I like Vermin.
He's a cool guy. I've only had a couple of conversations with him. Cool guy. I like what he's doing. I'm not going to talk bad about what he's doing or any of the candidates. I think that we have some wonderful candidates. But you see a lot of people, especially in like the delegate groups, that are
you
really
willing to tell us who your favorite is?
Me?
Yeah.
Not at the moment. I would like
yet.
to see I would like to see the debate. I will tell you that
You have a top 5. No, I'm just kidding. There's only like how many of them are left right now? I can't remember.
I think that we're at 12.
I was looking at it like the other day, and I can't effing remember. I was like, was that a lot of them? Holy crap, I can't remember.
Yeah, there were a lot. As we get closer to these filing dates and stuff like that, they're dropping off. If I was to say, I believe Vermin will probably get it. Mike, he is making a big surge right now. But I think Vermin's going to get it. I think Vermin has kind of created a movement, and between us, I kind of hope that he gets it. Not that I'm supporting him, and not that he is my candidate, because I don't have a declared candidate right now, but I really, really want him to get it, just because those people that are saying, well, you know, we can't have him, but then turn around and are bashing, you know, Max Aberson for running. And as you continue these purity tests, that's what you end up with. You end up with an extremely principled, albeit a little out there, candidate. And I kind of think that if you go to that extreme, then that'll kind of start the transition back towards more serious candidates, people that are running, which Vermin has great. He has great principles. He's, like I said, he's very, very on board with the libertarian platform. But the thing that I look at is that's going to be people's first introduction to the Libertarian Party. That's who they're going to see on Fox News. That's who they're going to see in this. And maybe that's not the right foot to put.
I see, like, I'm so torn, because I'm like, God, I want them to take us seriously so bad, but I would also pick up a drum and walk across the street with him.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do, and I can do both, but it's not like, I don't know how to do both, like, you know, because I'm like, oh, what do we do? I think that's kind of like what drew me to Dan Berman, honestly, because he's got the weird hat, but then when he starts talking, he's like real serious. Have you seen any of his stuff? He's got a good spread.
I like Dan. I wish Dan, in my opinion, I wish Dan would have done a better job of campaigning in the States and actually physically being at places. Because I think where he's fallen off a lot is he has a really big, like he was one of the first ones that I saw.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
he's the only
like early
that
last
went
year.
to Virginia, but like I don't know about the other stuff. I didn't see any other candidates on the ground in Virginia. That was kind of neat.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't see any others either. I'm trying to think though.
I'm trying to find out if there were, because like I want to say good things about them if they were, but like, I don't know for sure that there were any others. I can't find any.
But see, I think that that's another flaw that a lot of them have is they're not doing a very good job of putting it out there what they're doing, you know, and what they actually stand for. A lot of them are just kind of like, well, you know, I'm running, and like you don't really see their social media out all that much. I think a lot of them are kind of They don't understand how big of a role social media plays nowadays. A lot of them are still running kind of a grassroots type campaign, and that's not really the way to go. You know, the way that Gary Johnson did so well was, you know, he already had kind of a following, and then brought that along, and then he was kind of goofy, and a lot of people, you know, could identify with him. And the fact of the matter is, he did really well as far as our percentages go. He's the highest ever, and I hate the way that it ended. You know, with Weld leaving and endorsing Hillary and those things, and it's really disheartening to see that. But to circle back, I think Vermin's going to get it. I really do. Yeah. I think Vermin's going to get it. There are some great candidates running. I've talked to a lot of them. I really loved whenever Kim Ruff was running. She's dropped out. Yeah. She's still going to be at our convention speaking. She's wonderful, wonderful. I hate to see her go. I really like what our candidates are doing as far as they're not really attacking one another. It seems like that may have fallen out with Chafee getting involved. I see some people kind of attacking him, but we'll see how it goes. I do believe that we need those candidates that have more appeal than just to the most libertarians. I think that we need to do a better job of reaching out to right now we do a pretty good job of reaching out to Republicans, but I feel like we're missing the mark with Democrats because I believe that there are a lot of Democrats that you're going to see that are going to get disenfranchised, especially after Yang dropped out. Once the DNC screws Bernie over again, you know, these people that we align with on 60% of the platform, you know, other than their economics, we're pretty on board with them, and we're missing the mark with them just because we're not going at them.
Yeah, I think there's too many people in our party right now so worried about just being true libertarian rather than, you know, like we don't even have a left libertarian or a right libertarian like, you know, other parties do. You know, there's left-leaning Republicans and right.
There's too many people saying that left libertarians are fake, or they don't exist, or they're not real libertarians. They don't want to let them in, it seems. Like, I mean, I'm pretty progressive, and like, you know, I think I am. I think I am. And like, I get a lot of pushback. Do you get pushback? Do you end up having to deal with pushback? Like, do you get gatekept a lot? Gatekept? Gatekept?
Gatekept? I don't know how you would say that.
Gatekeeping?
I get pushback, but I can tell you that I don't get as much pushback with people in person.
Yeah.
Or
online, it's heavy.
I get a lot on.
People, it's different.
Yeah, I get a lot on Facebook. I got more before I got elected. I think that it's kind of given me some legitimacy. But, I mean, you still have the, you know, the purity test and the things like that. There have been some things that I've come forward with that weren't very well received. And, yeah, I mean, we have our own problems. One of the things that's really been good for me is I have a really good team of people that within the party, within the OKLP, that I can kind of go to and be like, hey, like, I'm thinking about doing this, you know, or thinking about taking this position. Can you kind of, and they're like, oh, well, you know, that'll be a train wreck, but whatever. So, but I still get some. I get weird looks whenever I tell people that, you know, I came from being a Marxist and that type of thing. But I think that there needs to be more of us, especially whenever, you know, we've got Mike Shipley. Mike Shipley is kind of a libsock. I think that's the proper term. Yeah, libertarian socialist. I don't.
Oh, yes. We have a couple of those hanging around here in our back rooms.
Yeah. What's weird about that, though, is that group and their beliefs, if you look at them and what they believe, that's Marxism. I mean, if you look at the end result of Marxism, it's a society that where there is no government, there are no classes, there is no money. People just come together for the group. And if you look at an anarchist utopia, there is no government, there is no money, there is no rules. People just come together for the individual. Mm-hmm. And so that gap there is smaller than a lot of people believe. And I think it's really weird that we romanticize anarchists and we don't so much with Marxists.
It's like Mike and I are constantly screaming all the time. Like, you know, we have so much in common with these people, and there's so many people. Like, we can talk about the economics whenever we get rid of this thing, you know. But let's band together to fix the shit that we can actually fix together and we agree on, and then we can argue afterwards. You know,
right.
We have this policy. We have this policy of, you know, having a 30-front war, and we have the least amount of soldiers out there. That's the very last thing we need to be doing. We need to be making alliances. We need to act like Liechtenstein, have fucking diplomats everywhere. Like, it's crazy to me how some of our people in the higher ups have this aggressive, closed-minded mindset in what's supposed to be one of the most liberal parties out there.
Yeah, I see that, but one of the things that I've had explained to me, because I have that same viewpoint. I think that we need to be reaching out to other groups. I think that we need to be pushing more to get stuff done. And one of the things that I say all the time is we need to spend less time being the most libertarian and more time winning elections.
Mm-hmm.
And also more time out there actually doing libertarian things. Because, like, we have to teach people that it's a real thing. They don't even believe in it. Like, they don't believe it can happen. They don't believe people are going to do that stuff. And there are so many libertarians on their couch.
Right.
Doing those things. You know, like, you don't have to run for office. You could just volunteer to help clean up the road for an hour a week or something. Just do something. Anything.
Right.
Teach some kids in your neighborhood how to garden.
Yeah,
you know,
any of that. And that's, you know, getting people involved is a big thing is a big issue that we face. I mean, if you look, we've got 11,000 registered libertarians in Oklahoma, and I think there's 30 people in our Discord.
Yeah.
And I think that of that 30, there's probably 10 or 12 of us that are actively doing things and trying to get stuff going, you know.
It's like with our Discord, we had somewhere over 200 people at one point, and it was just a matter of
150.
Yeah, but it's a matter of we lost half of that overnight because we decided to change policy of, you know, we're getting people in here that want to talk about these things.
Yeah, you have
rather
two
than
options.
doing.
You can be part of the discussion, or you can be part of the action, or both, and that's it. Like, there's not really a place for. I mean, like, we let people come hang out and stuff. We don't kick them out anymore. They just have to sit over there and not bother anybody, because usually those people pop in and, you know, they shitpost all over people trying to have conversations about things they find to be relevant issues, and people trying to have, like, you know, meetings on how to get active and stuff like that and everything.
Right.
I feel bad about it, but, I mean, actually everything got a lot more streamlined, but we still have like 150 some odd members, but the people who are part of the activist group, that's like 20.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you look at our if you look at our XCOM, and then you look at all the various groups that we have, it's pretty much the same people over and over again. I mean, there are very few people that are actively involved, and there are even less people that are actively involved and not becoming bitter, disenfranchised, jaded, whatever you want to call it. Because what I've seen a lot of is there are so few people that are active that the ones that are active, they kind of get bitter. They kind of get jaded, you know. And
burnout, there's quitters fatigue, there's all sorts of shit.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot, and you know, I can't sit here and say like that I haven't, you know, rage quit something for a couple of minutes and then be like, okay, like I got to come back. But I mean, there's a lot, you know, and people are super passionate about it. And I think that a lot of that passion is misguided because they feel like the one of the problems is that this party's been hijacked quite a bit of times by some different people that are trying to use that platform to gain some notoriety and then just kind of dump it, you know? And I think that that's where you get that so few people being involved, and also those ones that are involved, they're gatekeepers. Like you said, they really want to keep everything the way that it is, and it's kind of hard to get involved.
Mm-hmm. So that being said,
on the other hand, like, it does seem like there are quite a few people out there nowadays that, like, if you actually show that you're doing stuff and you come out there being loud and doing things, they go, whoa, you're doing things. Come here. Come with me. Let me help you. You know, like, we've had several people help us out, you know, and it's been amazing. Like, now that we actually got over, like, the wall, like, we had to find a crack in the wall. It was called, like, for me, it was called Facebook. What did you have to do? Just, yours was easier. I'm so jealous. I hate you. Screw you, Oklahoma guys, for being cool. Like, it's hard. Some places.
Yeah, Mike was over here complaining about his, you know, Libertarian Party stuff and how difficult it was, and I was just like, what are you talking about? Two of them just messaged me.
Like,
in the Discord link right now.
I was getting discouraged, actually. Like, I was like, what? Like, he's getting all these views. Is it because I'm weird? Like, what is happening?
They probably saw the mask and glasses. That's what it was. They were like, oh, fuck this guy.
No. If
because, like,
Arkansas
when I actually walked in there, nobody freaking acted like I was weird at all.
No.
Nobody even gave me a second blink. Not even the dudes in suits.
Right. And,
no, go ahead.
And, you know, I'm the dude in the suit most of the time. I actually, like, went over, like, okay, I'm going to wear a t-shirt and, like, a hat and try and be, like, normal for a change. But, yeah, so I get that. But, you know, if you're having difficulty with Arkansas, you're always welcome with us. We welcome all. We're really trying to make this a movement here in Oklahoma. You know, we've got several elected officials. I don't want to shit on them or anything,
because they are actually like, once I walked in the door in a place, now that I actually made contact, it's a lot better than it was. It was just hard to find them. So
right, yeah. Well, it was like that. It was like that here whenever we first came in, you know, and it's been a big thing with everybody trying to make it more accessible. You know, Erin, she came before us, and she had been trying to do that, but the issue was that she couldn't get enough people to be actively involved to even streamline the process. You know, everybody, like, they've had a bunch of mass exoduses, they've had the Joe Exotic debacle. I mean, they've had a lot go on, and we've kind of had, you know, really we've had like a year of kind of peace, and everything's kind of going good, and so we're trying to get that ball rolling, and I think it's working well. I'm really glad to hear that Paxton had such an easy time getting on, just because, like, I worry about that all the time, because, you know, I talk about it quite a bit, but, you know, I reached out to the OKLP Twitter. I reached out to, you know, I emailed. I did a bunch whenever I was first trying to get involved, and the way that I did it was I finally just asked Todd, like, hey, how do I get involved? And Todd's like, oh, this guy. And then, like, you know, 6 weeks.
Todd knows a lot of stuff. Like, we didn't know that you could join the Libertarian Party for free. And, like, I ended up handing that link out to, like, so many people who were just like, I want to join, but I can't afford it. And I'm like, no. Here, baby, get in.
Right.
I'm all driving up. Get in, bitch. We're going to Liberty. I got a free link.
Right. We're going to go save America. Yeah. I mean, yeah, a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know that there are those options. One of the things that I've been kicking around, and we'll see how it goes, but I think that information is more valuable than those dues. Because if you look at, like, Oklahoma, I think we're at 70 due-paying members out of 11,000. And so one of the things that I've really thought about and kind of brought up a little bit, got some kickback, didn't get some support, but got some support a little bit, is the idea of introducing a free OKLP membership in exchange for your email. Because one of the issues that we have is we have all these members and no information on them other than voter registration. And when you start sending out mailers and things like that, it gets extremely costly. And you know, we don't have big donors. We don't have a lot of that stuff to kind of fund that. But if you could have somebody's email address just to be able to, like, I don't know, Paxton, are you getting the Quill? Have you seen that? That was a new thing that we introduced, which is like a monthly newsletter.
Yeah, no, I would definitely. How do I get signed up on that? Because I'm constantly looking for like regular information and
I'm getting
stuff.
mad over here.
We'll put it in the Discord and see how you can get that. But Chad is the one. He's chair, at chair.
Okay.
He's the one that sends that out, and he can get you on the mailing list.
Okay. That'd be awesome. Yeah.
You might have just come in like in the lull between like we're trying to get everybody added onto it, or maybe they just haven't added your email or whatever. But we now do like a monthly newsletter that says like, hey, this is what's happened. This is what is happening. These certain county affiliates are doing this. This regional affiliate is doing that, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
And just trying to get that news out, because one of the big things that we found was there are more people that want to get involved. They just don't know what we're doing.
Right. Yeah,
and so,
I definitely get that.
We would set up, like we're going to set up at the state fairs next year.
Oh man, that's brilliant.
And yeah, so that's a big
thing here too, because like where I'm at is like I'm all excited about that stuff because like we're right here at it, and I want to freaking volunteer at it or something.
Yeah.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah. There's also the Liberty on Taps. We do that the third Thursday of every month. That's actually not.
I keep forgetting about that actually.
Yeah.
Write that down. Hold on a second. Well, keep going. I'm gonna do it.
So the Liberty on Tap. A lot of liberty-minded people they don't necessarily have to be libertarians. The guy that puts it on is he's a registered libertarian, but he hasn't really been that active in the party. He's just been active in the liberty movement, So you could have some liberty Democrats there, some liberty Republicans or whatever, but we literally just meet up at a restaurant or bar and just
that's pretty cool.
Really just shoot the shit over some beers about liberty stuff. Sometimes they have topics, the guy that runs it's a guy named Craig Dawkins. He's a professor at Rose State, and I mean it's pretty cool. You get to see some people that you may not see quite a bit, but we're working on getting more stuff like that. One of the things is we're trying to revitalize the Oklahoma County program. And try and set up meetings like that monthly. And just really get the word out and kind of get some people there that may be like, for lack of a better term, liberty curious.
Liberty curious.
Liberty curious.
How do you propose getting, like, how do you get someone that's interested in libertarianism and the ideals to actually going out there and, preaching about libertarianism and, doing the activities, acting like a libertarian? Like, is it just a matter of they don't actually believe in libertarianism, or is there some kind of vital step?
No, I think that what happens to a lot of people is they see the people that are active and they think that there's some difference between those that are doing and them, and there's some it factor that they don't have. And, I thought that for a long time. I thought, man, like these politicians, like they're just on a different level. And like,
well, yeah, I felt that way before too. Like,
yeah,
I can't go in there and just talk to these dudes. They know what they're doing, and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I just have ideas, and I feel dumb.
Yeah,
like,
nobody knows what they're doing. Trust me, none of us. And I can tell you from inside the party, I mean, it is like Chris Powell. Chris Powell, he ran for governor, and I was so nervous to talk to him, and he's just a normal guy. Rex ran against him, and Rex is great. Rex is just a normal dude. You can just talk to him. We're all just normal people. Todd, I was super intimidated to talk to Todd. Todd's awesome. And I think that what happens with do what?
I was nervous. I was like, oh no, he's moving in here.
And I think that is that's that gap. Is once they come around and they see that you're just like a normal person, they're more apt to get involved, because they really think that like those that are out there doing, like they have some it factor. They have
or
something
special or whatever. Well, I mean, don't you have to like have money to do that for the Democrats or the Republicans? Don't you have to like join all these things and get involved and be part of like their procedures and crap?
The Illuminati.
You have to go to Epstein Island.
Yeah, that type of thing.
Or at least, I mean, that's the impression. Like, I never tried to get involved with the Democrat or the Republican Party, so I don't really know how that works, but I've seen other people be involved. They can't talk about certain shit. They have to follow all these rules. It's weird. It's weird.
Yeah, there's a lot to that. You're seeing less of that from the old parties, but even here, you know, you kind of, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I always feel weird whenever I'm posting stuff on Twitter, especially like if it's personal stuff, just because like I feel like I'm always representing the party and stuff like that. And so you've kind of got to get that. But that's kind of part of being an elected official. You got to really watch what you've got, what you're putting out there and stuff like that, just because there is that thing that's set forth by the old parties. But as far as just getting involved, you don't have to have any of that. I mean, there are people that are ruthless online and are super involved. And if you're worried about getting involved because maybe you're not the most libertarian person or you don't know what to do, I would encourage you to just reach out to some of us and get involved, because
just grab out to anyone, really. Yeah,
really. And
it's like the great worm. The spice must flow. You got to just grab on. It can't stop for anybody. We're gonna just pull you up. Come on.
Yeah, and that's,
you can't find the internet page or something like that, but you see active people like you with Todd. You see an active person online that's with the Libertarian Party. Just message them.
Yeah.
Like, I never imagined that some of these people would get back to us. Like, when one day we were like, hey, Dan, you want to come on our show? And we're like, yeah, that would be cool, wouldn't it? And we were like, he's never going to fucking, like, he's like, yeah, let's make this shit happen. And I'm like, what do we do now?
Yeah. Yeah, it's super crazy too. Like, I remember last year, whenever I was first getting started with like this convention, and Aaron Adams handed this stuff over to me, you know, and I'm like, man, like, I'm about to text like Adam Kokesh. I'm like, I'm going to text him and see if he wants to come to this convention. And I was super nervous, you know, because like I've seen him like for a couple of years now. You know, I remember I've seen him get arrested for different stuff in the name of liberty, you know, and he's running for president now. And I'm just like, oh my God. And I text him, and it took him like 30 minutes to text me back. So I texted him, I'm like, hey, my name's Kevin Hobbie. I'm with the Libertarian Party of Oklahoma. I don't mean to bother you. I just, you know, I just really want to see if you'd be interested in coming to our convention and blah, blah, blah. Super professional. You know, I went over it like 3 or 4 times and was like, oh, okay, this is the perfect thing to say. And I send it off to him. And he doesn't reply for a while. And then he sends back, sure, dude. And that's it. And I was like, oh, he's just a normal person. And then we just bullshitted back and forth. But like, it's crazy. It's really crazy whenever you get more involved in like Nathan Dahm. You know, Nathan is a Republican. He's a Liberty Republican is what I'd call him. And I talk to him on Twitter all the time. We DM each other. He gave me his number. I mean, he's a great guy. You know, he's the reason we have constitutional carry here in Oklahoma. He's one of the better ones that we have. He's just a regular dude, you know? And I think that is one of the issues that a lot of people have, is they think that the people that are involved are something special or like they have this it factor that you don't have. And really we're all just people just trying to do what's best for us and our kids and our grandkids and the generations after us, because we all kind of believe in the same thing. So, you know, if you believe in liberty, if you believe in the liberty movement, getting involved, I wish that I would have done it sooner. You know, when I came in, my first convention, I had no idea what I was doing. I just switched my registration. It's so crazy, but I actually, my first convention, the only convention I've been to, I say my first, but the last convention that I was at was my first one, and I didn't even know if they were going to let me in because my registration hadn't been swapped from independent to libertarian for long enough. And like they had to like check the books that morning to make sure that I was officially there. And then I ran for vice chair and got it. And so, I mean, you can do whatever you want to within this party if you just jump in.
That being said, do you have an idea of where someone can like start with that? Like where if someone doesn't really know what to be aiming for, like myself, for example, like I plan on running for office as soon as possible, and we're trying to figure out like what to even aim for, because there's so many different positions you could go for, and you don't necessarily want to go just for, you know, whatever is open.
Right. I would suggest, because me, myself, I've gone through a couple of different, you know, I was going to run for House District 99 against AJ Pittman, and I ended up moving out of the district. And then I've tossed around a couple of other things, and I just haven't really found that fit, you know, because you don't want to just run for whatever's open. And what I would suggest is you find out what your passion is. So if you know, you're really passionate, you said yourself, you know, you're really passionate about vocational schools. There are a lot of positions within those. I can get you in touch with some campaign managers for like Chris Powell and Chad and a couple other people, and they can show you those positions even for the school board, basically the school boards of those. I think they're called Metro Tech, but I could be wrong.
I'm pretty sure it's Metro Tech.
I think it's Metro Tech, but I'm not 100% on that. But, you know, they have positions that come open all the time. They're nonpartisan races. So the plan is, at least in Oklahoma, our plan has been to win these nonpartisan races, these school boards, these city councils and stuff like that, and get people familiar with us, and then try and run for these partisan, because it's going to be, you get a lot different vibe if, oh, hey, you know, that's Paxton. He's been on the Metro Tech board for 4 years now, and now he's running for House. Then who the fuck is that libertarian guy? What the fuck is a libertarian?
Right.
You know? Sorry for the language.
Especially some of the stuff that I've said online.
Yeah. And I would suggest if you're looking at running for something, reaching out to any of the party platforms or any of the members. I mean, everybody would be glad to get you help or resources or whatever. One of the things that Chad is really, he's been advocating it. We haven't necessarily got it done 100% just yet, is we're trying to put together a campaign board, basically like a group that's going to help people run campaigns and show them how to win these campaigns successfully. And
yeah, that would be a great idea, I think.
Yeah, it's super hard to get, like, so you got Chris Powell, right? Like Chris Powell he's the shoe-in for it, but Chris doesn't want to do it. Even though he does it, he just doesn't want to like officially be in it, you know?
Right.
So if you're wanting to run, I would suggest reaching out to Chad or Chris until we get this put together. Once we get this put together and we have these resources available, it'll make it a lot easier. We're just trying to get that groundwork laid down. And so a lot of the things that, you know, you're wondering about, to be honest, we're wondering about it too, because we just started winning elections, you know?
Right.
And that's the truth. You know, I mean, we just had our first elected official last year.
A alumni of mine from a vocational school had the same teacher and everything. He now runs a campaign business, or what do you call that? Political campaign business? I can't.
Yeah, political consultants.
But yes, that. And he's ran for office himself. I actually helped him whenever I was in vocational school, trying to help him get district representative. And he's in charge of something now. I can never recall what it is. And he's now doing that political consultant business.
Right.
So I was thinking, you know, That might be somebody else that we try to get y'all in touch with. I'm sure he would have some ideas for y'all at least.
Oh yeah, I would love that. We've used a couple of political consultants for a couple of campaigns, you know, and they, you know, it always does better to have professionals in those roles. And
For sure.
one of the things that the issues that they've had prior to this is they haven't really had the funding to be involved with a professional group like that. For whatever reason, you know, and everybody's just kind of been doing it on their own. There hasn't really been like a united front as far as that goes. There hasn't really been, and so Chad Williams, that's been something that he's really been pushing, is to help these candidates. They started a group on Facebook about it, and they're trying to get that going. They're trying to start a separate Discord group for these resources and be able to talk to these political consultants and things like that. But yeah, if you know somebody, please throw it up, because we would love to get involved with anybody. And they don't have to be, you know, one of the best political consultants that we've had is Crystal. She was on Chris's campaign for Bethany, and I think her Twitter handle is I love cats more than you. And she's great. She knows all the numbers and all of that stuff, and she is fantastic. She's really good at her job. And she is an independent. She came whenever we were voting on opening the primaries, and spoke really, really passionately about us opening up the primaries to independents. And, of course, we ended up not, you know, and that was a long, drawn-out thing. Were you on the Discord at that time?
No, I'm still relatively new.
Yeah. So, you know, we had initially we had voted yes, and it won by one vote. And so we were rolling with it. And then we found out later on, due to a challenge from one of our XCOM members, that, hey, like, we actually had to have 2/3 vote for this to pass. And it got drug out. It was a long thing, but it was a learning experience for all of us. And because we didn't know, you know, and a lot of us haven't been really familiar with Robert's rules and the way that those work. And we're all just, you know, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. We're all just people trying to make this work, and we don't have the answers, and we don't know everything. But we're trying our best. And really that's all that you can do.
You know, I circle back around a little bit to when, you know, like, you seem really interested in taking advantage of opportunities to reach out to bring, like, questioning left people into the fold.
Yep.
That kind of leads us towards some, like, I had a question. I was curious about what you thought about, like, you know, stuff like Blexit and Walkaway. Have you heard of those?
Yeah, Blexit and Walkaway.
Yeah, what do you think about those, and how do you think that we should be approaching that?
I think that we should be really embracing those, especially if you look at Blexit, you know, and with that, those communities that are leaving the Democratic parties and going to Republican or Independent and things like that. The reason why they're going that way is because for a long time, you know, they felt like this group represented them, and it didn't. And people within that party, Candace Owens has done really good. You know, she's part of the Turning Point. She's done really good at preaching that, you know, Republicans are the way to go, and Trumpism and populism and those type of things. And I think that we're missing the mark there by not promoting ourselves to that, to them, because we haven't really come up with a good marketing area for that, you know. And
Straka seems to be he's like, well, I don't want to say marketing, but like, he's like, you know, you don't have to be a Republican, just walk away. That seems to be a much, like, that place is probably filled with people who would be interested. I've even seen them post videos of, like, anarchists and libertarians already. So, like, I think that would be great. And I feel like it's going largely ignored. It doesn't get as much coverage as Blexit does, though.
Right. Well, Blexit gets a lot of coverage, but I think because of Candace Owens and Turning Point. because Turning Point is huge. People really underestimate the influence that they have, but they are huge. Yeah. And we don't really have that. We haven't really been pursuing that. And the reason for that being that so many libertarians are right-leaning. You know, they came from being Republican, and so they've been marketing to other former Republicans. And
well, that's what they know. You know,
yeah.
I don't think they're doing it on purpose. I mean, but it isn't as helpful as it could be.
No, they're not. And a lot of it has to do with they just don't understand it, you know, because what happens with a lot of people is they usually start off fairly liberal, fairly progressive, just because of the family dynamic. You know, everything's free, everybody looks out for one another, and that leads them into socialism, and then they end up coming back to the right, you know. And some people just continue down that path and they go, you know, Democrat, Republican, Libertarian. You have very few people that make the jump straight from a Democrat to, or a progressive, we'll say, from a progressive to a classic liberal or a libertarian. That jump, because it usually phases one way or another, you know. And so you don't have, you're talking to people that don't have that ability to kind of bridge the gap, you know, because what you're looking at is you're looking at a group that has primarily been against the left. They've been against Democrats. We'll just say Democrats, progressives, Democrats have been against them when they were Republicans, and now they're against them when they're libertarians. And we as people are extremely tribal, and there's nothing that unites people more than being against somebody. And so you're talking about people that have been against something from the jump without realizing that they've kind of circled back and are closer to that than where they were when they left. And I think that those movements, we should be more involved and we should focus on them more. And I think that the way to do that is to get more involved with these left-leaning, these liberty Democrats, these the Blexit, you know, the Black Guns Matter, Maj and his thing. I think that those are very underutilized within our party. And
brought up Maj because one of our other co-hosts, because there's three of us, he wanted to leave a question for you, and his question was, what are your opinions on the way that Maj Toure was treated by the Libertarian Party? Are you allowed to say anything about that?
I am. Yeah, of course I am. I've said some things before that have kind of been, I would say, less than favorable about the situation. My honest opinion of it is I think that the party, I don't like the way that he was handled. And here's why. From the jump, I felt like, I feel like the thing with him is Maj has always been the same, okay? He's always been the same person. And everybody who voted for him to be the keynote and
even now he hasn't changed anything.
He hasn't changed any. And so when the National LP decided that they were going to have him, right? All of that data was already there. We already knew what we were getting. And then to pretend like, oh, well, we didn't know that he held these values and he had this. Well, you have, half a decade of social media that I know that you went through before then. And so to act surprised whenever he uses language like that is, that language, he said, he told him to eat a dick. That's what he said. And I can't tell you how often I have said that candidly with other people. It's language that is used quite a bit, and I don't like the idea of us as a party kowtowing to
that seems
particular donors.
To me, not to be a gatekeeper or anything.
Yeah, and I don't like the way it was handled. My opinion of it is I think that we should have done more research before getting on to him. But here's what happened. We kind of the National LP latched onto him because he was a rising star within the party, and he brought in a demographic that we don't represent as much. You know, we don't really have that there in our repertoire.
Right.
And we didn't research enough. That's my honest opinion. We didn't exactly understand what we were getting involved with. I like Maj. From the conversations that I've had with him, I think he's wonderful. I love what he's doing. I think that we should have known, but at the same time, I just don't like the way that the situation was handled. I don't like it from the beginning. I think that we should have.
If we didn't, even though if you didn't know, maybe they didn't handle it so well.
Right, exactly.
The new people that are peeping their heads in to look at this stuff, and they see the cool shit that's going on, and they're like, "Oh, who is this dude?" and everything like that. Then they see what happens, and they don't understand what happened because it's not clear to the public what actually happened. There's like rumors floating around and all this stuff, you know, like. I've heard all sorts of shit about what happened. Like, eventually, like, he told us what happened, and, like, the story with, like, the actual people who are, like, part of the Libertarian Party, it's been the same. It's just everybody outside don't really, you know, like, the little L's and the people on the outside, they also don't really get what happened now. They feel, like, alienated by seeing something like that, I feel.
Right. No, and I don't think it's a good look. I don't like like I said, I didn't like the way that.
But that doesn't look good. Or what is it? That's not a good look. That's what they say a lot, isn't it?
Yeah. It's not a good look. It's not though, and I hate the way that went down. I wish. You know, he made a post maybe a couple of days later that was like, looked cute, might take over the Libertarian Party later.
Oh, yeah.
It was very exciting.
I wish that was the direction that he went. And instead of kind of being pushed away, he came at it harder. You know, I would love to see more of his people get involved. But at the same time, I understand, you know,
I mean, I don't know if you saw our Maj episode, but he kind of hit on that a little bit and said that, like, you know, he might have to still do that.
Yeah, I did catch that, but I don't know that I would love to see it. I would love to see more people get involved. And the thing about that is, you know, we always feel like since we're such a small group that we have to be super excited about everything that happens in the party and support it and everything like that. But if you look at the other parties, they have disagreements all the time.
Oh, yeah.
I don't.
Well, I mean, we all as a party disagree about a lot of shit if you look at the internet. So, like, I don't see why we're trying to pretend that we don't.
Yeah. And I wish that in that situation, I don't like the way it was handled. I think that we should have done more research before getting him. I also think that it shouldn't have ended that way. I think that things should have been a little bit more transparent. As far as removing him, you know, me personally, I didn't feel like that was the right move to make because it kind of sends the wrong signal that, you know, hey, if you know, you are going to donate and you do have the money, then you can kind of push us around, and I don't like that viewpoint.
Yeah.
I have been informed. I was not actively involved in that. That is way above me in the party.
Mm-hmm.
I've been informed that there's more to it than that, but as far as like what is being seen by the public and all of that, I don't think, like you said, it's not a good look.
Why us libertarians at least don't fucking know what happened? Like, what's going on? Like, it's irritating to me.
Right. Well, that amount of secrecy.
Want to know what the fuck is happening, why the fuck this happened, what's going on, and what's gonna happen next. You know. Right.
I honestly don't know. I can't provide any better answers than what you guys know, just because like I'm just the vice chair in the state party, you know.
Yeah, we're not trying to like be like, why don't you tell us things?
Tell us this is your fault. No, I'm just bitching about it. I don't know where that line starts at I haven't hit that place really. Like, I mean,
Right.
I'm not really sure where that line is, but like, I don't. I've talked to people at the state level. They don't really know what's going on. So like, I don't expect you to either. That would be rude. I was just curious about. Ah, man, I don't know. I'm still riled about it. It's been fucking. Well, like, what was that? Like 2 months, 3 months? I'm bad with
3
time.
months.
It moves really fast for me, and I have a hard time remembering how long it's been.
Yeah.
But like, I'm still riled up about that shit. I'm like, God damn, you know? I don't understand why everything is so, like, this felt shady. And because they didn't explain it and nobody knows what's happening, it felt shadier.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the things that I'd seen thrown around in a lot of the groups was that, you know, even if it wasn't shady, the amount of the lack of information that came out made it seem shady. And a lot of the times, it doesn't matter what something is; it's the perception of it.
Mhm.
You know, that's how we get things like the Patriot Act.
Exactly.
Well,
And-
most people are like, oh, well, that feels really shady. I'm just going to believe it's shady. They don't go asking people questions because of that line. They don't think they can do that.
Right.
They don't believe they can just call somebody and ask them or some shit like that. Or what
Yeah.
they think or whatever. And in some cases like this, like, you really can't. If they're even going to tell you guys that, like, there's more to it, but they're not going to fucking explain it. It's kind of weird.
Right.
I don't know. I hope I don't get you in trouble with this.
No, I don't. As far as the national goes, you know, the national isn't really as involved with the state level, and each state kind of runs itself, you know. So there's not really anybody to get in trouble with. I mean, there's opinions, you know, and everybody has their opinions. I'm being less professional than
working together more, or
well,
do
here's
you
the
think it's
thing.
fine as it is.
I think that you have your regional reps, you know, and then that's part of the LNC at large, and then your state reps. And I think that focusing more on the states being autonomous and, you know, having these regional affiliates within the states and then the county affiliates and every state kind of being its own thing, I think it works better than if we had a national kind of disseminating everything, because, you know, that's kind of the government that we preach.
Yeah.
And so us operating like that gives us a better idea of what it would actually be like. I enjoy it. The only thing that I don't is, like, I don't know if you guys have seen the latest, you know, the LP National Twitter and the water getting thrown in that girl's face and the NAP violation and that whole thing, you know.
I've not seen that.
I haven't seen
You
that
have?
either.
I have not.
You have not. Gosh, I'm not as informed about this. So, but basically, what happened is that there's that girl that you know, she's blonde. She's got the kinky hair with the guns.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about from the Libertarian, not Libertarian, Liberty Hangout.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
Okay.
Sorry, I don't really care for her, but I mean, like,
Yeah.
I don't think she should be assaulted. Did she get
Exactly.
water thrown at her?
Yeah, she got water thrown at her. That was the
That's
thing.
too far.
And okay, so the LP National tweeted something basically along the lines of, like, you know, we support these people's ability to protest and et cetera, et cetera. And somebody was like, well, they're throwing water on people, you know. And then some higher up member tweeted, you know, jokingly, we don't support anybody. What was it? We don't support the moistening of anybody. And the LP continued to kind of defend this.
Shit.
Do what?
These days, you don't know what's in that shit. And, like, we hear stories about people, like, just walking up and throwing all sorts of weird stuff on each other.
Yeah. Well, and it's all a NAP violation. I mean, anytime, everybody has the ability to peacefully protest. And you know, if you don't, one of the things that a lot of people don't really get is they're really all for free speech and protesting as long as it's them that's doing it, but not so much when it's the other side. And you kind of have to support everybody, because if you don't,
yeah, you can't cherry pick that shit. Makes you a hypocrite.
Right, but nobody, you know, even people that you don't like, seeing them getting water thrown on them and things like that, it's not good. Yeah. So where I was going with that is I like the ability that we're so autonomous that we can kind of say, like, hey, that probably wasn't handled the way that it should be, and there's not like a big federal group coming after us, you know? So I enjoy that. The flip side of that is that you do have huge differences in states and the way that they're ran. And, you know, like even you've said, like the ability for people to get involved with them is vastly different just because there's no like blueprint. And so, you know, like I imagine have to build our own. Yeah. And so I think it goes both ways.
But I mean, then it can be customized to the needs of the people, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, so I like it. I think that this election that we have for chair, it's going to really, really determine how that goes, whether it stays or if we change it a lot. And I'm really interested to see how the chair is going to go.
Man, good stuff. I'm enjoying this.
Man, I really am too. I don't want it to go forever because I'm afraid we'll keep you up all night.
No, it's all good.
Man, God. All right, so like, let me think. What was next? My brain just went sizzle. I was gonna ask you, you know, like, do you think that you'll keep doing this? Like, is this something that you're interested in staying at? Are you gonna like go look for different offices, or are you gonna try to go higher up yourself, or like do you have any future plans?
Yes. I think as far as the state party, I will stay in my vice role as long as Chad is going to stay in the chair role. I think Chad is a wonderful chair. I don't have any interest in challenging him, you know. I also, my political aspirations are kind of outside of the national level and things like that, as far as going to the LNC in large and things like that. I'm in the middle of trying to find a house and buying it and kind of getting settled in a district. And then when that happens, I'm going to start. I'm going to start on building a platform for a campaign of my own. I would like to be on the state level House or Senate. I haven't really decided. I was going to do the House. I've reached out to some people. I have some pretty good connections in both parties that could get me some bipartisan support. And I will be running for a political office in the not so distant future. And I'm going to do it as a libertarian, not as an independent or anything like that. And I would really like to be the first libertarian elected in a partisan race in Oklahoma. So that's kind of my plan. And then going from there and seeing where that goes. You only get 12 years in Oklahoma. We do have term limits, you know, and so regardless of if you go from the House to the Senate or whatever, you know, I'm going to term out, and hopefully I'll still be pretty young when that hopefully whenever that starts happening, you know, and I've wrapped up that, then I can go on and come back into the party and start kind of laying out the blueprint for how people are going to run.
So tell us more about the convention coming up. Like, just tell us how that functions. What's even the point of it? I don't think a lot of people even understand what the point of the convention is.
Okay, so the way that our elections work for POTUS and chair is we have state delegates that go to nationals, and our delegates are, we don't run in a primary type system. So the way that You have the caucuses and the primaries for everybody else. We don't run like that. We nominate our POTUS candidate at nationals, at the national convention. And in order to do that, we elect delegates at the state conventions. And so that's the main thing. We're going to be nominating state delegates to go to convention and vote for POTUS and vote for chair and things like that. We're also going to have a chair debate. There are some presidential candidates that are going to be there, but I would like everybody to know that New Jersey is having their convention the same weekend that we are. And so a lot of the presidential candidates are going to be headed that way because there's more delegates.
Oh, I see. Okay.
We are going to have a few. We're going to have Kim Ruff speaking, of course. We've got Andrew Heaton, the comedian. He's going to be there. He's going to be our keynote. So we'll be electing delegates. We'll have a debate, things like that. Then on Sunday is our business day. That's when we'll be going over bylaws committee and changes to the platform, changes to the planks, and stuff like that. We will not be doing an election for the XCOM this year because we do it every other year, you know, so the people that are on the XCOM right now. This year we are going to have, because our treasurer has left, we have an interim treasurer right now. We will be electing an actual treasurer to that one. But then they'll be up for re-election the same time the rest of us are. So we've got, really it's just a time for us to get together and kind of see the direction that the party's going to go for the next year. That's really what it is. The POTUS debate and the chair debate, the delegates, those are the big things, but really it's just a chance for us to all get together and kind of exchange ideas. Also, it's really good to meet people face to face instead of kind of behind a computer screen like we do most of the time, you know?
Yeah,
Right.
I feel like it'd be a really good place to like broaden your network.
Yeah, it is 100%. And we would love to see everybody there.
That's one of the things I'm so excited about going to the Arkansas one because I want to meet other people. It's very exciting. Do you guys have to sign up ahead of time or register or anything like that for your?
Yeah, we have tickets. So you have to buy tickets to ours.
You can put that below here and pop that down as soon and get it out as soon as we can, then so people can.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great. So we do have that. We also have some booth space that's still available. We do have some media outlets that are going to be coming, so they've taken up a little bit of that booth space, but for the most part, I mean, we've got plenty of tickets still to sell. There is going to be a bar, if that interests you.
Okay, well, where's the tickets at?
Is there going to be meat?
Yeah. We are going to have we're going to have dinner on Saturday, and then we called it a gala last year. It's not really what it's going to be. It's just a bunch of people hanging out and just kind of shooting the shit over some beers. Some people might be dancing, different stuff like that. We're having it at the Stokely Event Center, which is a pretty cool place if you've never been. It's gonna be a good time.
Sounds like a good time, yeah. And how often is the convention? I mean, is this a yearly thing or?
It's a yearly thing. Yep.
Yearly, okay. I'm trying to think here. I think for now, there's a whole lot of things that I think we want to go through with you. I think you're a huge fount of information for us, especially, you know, coming from your, you know, original perspective with Marxism and things like that, and switching over here, and now, you know, being a vice chair so quick. I think ideally what we would like to do, I think would be nice to do like multiple interviews with you, you know, and just kind of chop it up.
Like to come back and talk to us some more? We'd love that.
Whenever you guys want, you just let me know.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Great. Also, like,
how long have we been going?
Oh gosh,
almost
I don't know, like
2 hours.
Oh, yeah.
We've been going for almost 2 hours now, and
time flies.
I still wanted to ask you about like a few recommendations and stuff like that. Like, we always ask people, you know, like if you were gonna give out some literature or content creator or something like that, what kind of things would you suggest to people who are trying to either get into libertarianism or like just useful philosophy and political information and stuff?
I always suggest Todd Hagopian. He's one of the best resources that we have as far as easily accessible.
Libertarian in chief.
Yeah, Libertarian in chief. Yeah. He on Twitter. He doesn't have a presence on Facebook. Not that that's a bad thing, you know, but he's always accessible. Larry Sharp and the Sharp Way. You know, those are great. Larry's great. Drunk and Disorderly is another podcast.
I like Drunk and Disorderly.
Yeah, I love them. That's always a great resource. I know that they've got a couple of other programs that are coming out through that same platform. There's going to be a couple more. I know Erin Adams is going to do I think it's weekly. She's going to do a breakdown of like the news from that week, and then from the libertarian point of view. So think of like last week tonight, but with the libertarian leaning. Super, super pumped about that.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. Then as far as content, you know, Larry's great. Check out the POTUS candidates. You can find a list of them on the LP site, lp.org. And of course our websites, you know, we're working on updating those and getting them more interactive and things like that. Then of course, you know, you guys, they're not following you.
Yeah. A lot of the places, including ourselves, that you mentioned are actually on the Liberty podcast ranker list. I don't know if you've heard about that, but there's a bunch of other cool ones on there too.
I haven't. I need to check it out.
I've been finding new ones and stuff like that. I first found it because someone was like, "Hey, have you heard of this podcast?" You know, and they handed me the Drunk and Disorderly, and I was like, "This is cool." And they're like, if you like it, you should vote them up on this podcast ranker." And I was like, heck yeah, I will. And I'm gonna like show it to everybody and get them to do it too. And then like the next thing, you know, I was like, why aren't we on this list? And so I submitted, and then like, you know, like Dan's got Taxation is Theft is on there, and Larry Sharp's on there, and like hell, even the Rubin Report is on there. Like
nice.
There's a bunch of things on there. There's the Lesbitarian. I like the Lesbitarian.
Yeah. Sure you do.
Also, if anybody is looking for more information on stuff, the LPedia is great. I don't know if you guys have checked that out, but it has all of us on there.
I'll have to check that out. I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, so it is a Wikipedia page, but for all things libertarian. So like they have like a page about me and a page about Larry Sharp. And,
Oh, that's really cool. I gotta get into that.
Yeah, I think it's let me look at it right here. I think it's lpedia.org.
Might be something else for me to add to my pass around to new people list, or not new people list, because like I'm finding more and more that like people who've been libertarians or like anarchists that are on the train with the libertarians or whatever,
right?
They've never heard of these channels and stuff like that, you know, like
so it's lpedia.com. That's all it is.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, and it's got, you know, categories. It's got all one of the really great things that it has is you can go to it, you can go to the subcategories, and if you'll go into collections, they actually have a collection of organizations and people and different publications, basically everything libertarian you can find on there, down to like individual articles, books, newsletters, everything.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting.
Yeah, now I'm gonna have to get on there and look at that. I'm gonna have to put that on our useful links page now that we got our website up.
Yeah, they're great. They're you know, they're really trying to put it all together. They reached out to me about my page, and I think that they're doing a great thing. But you can just go in there, and anybody that you want to look up, you can look them up, or you can go through policies, changes to the platform, everything. I mean, it's a really good resource as far as all things libertarian.
That's a one-stop shop.
Yeah,
stuff.
and everything gets on there. You guys could probably reach out to them and get your podcast put on there as well. You
That is
should.
a good idea.
All right. Well, we're gonna have to do that then. I'm making a list of all the stuff that people can do to try and get their foot in the door too, because like as we're trying to do it, like I'm coming up with lists, and I'm like, there's a lot of people that are like, I want to do this, but I can't. I don't know how. I don't know where to start. And like, we don't know where to start. We don't know what we're doing. We're literally running face first into all of this shit. Like,
Yeah.
And just like you said, once we got past the hump of talking to the very first person, we're like, oh wait, people will just talk to us if we say, hey, do you want to talk to us?
Yeah.
Like, we've just been like, well, that means we should just bother everybody, because if we bother everybody, then we're at least gonna get somebody.
Right. And sometimes that's just what you got to do,
Well, it's like, we want to paint a face of liberty here. We want people to realize that, well, like, we don't just do libertarian stuff all the time. We're interested in showing people all the faces of liberty. But I believe that libertarianism is going to be the training wheels that we need to live in a fully open, more anarchist society. Because, and to teach, and you kind of hinted on that, where things get, you have to go with a slope. You have to teach people how to do these things by letting them do them and stuff. We're gonna have to do that to get people to libertarianism too. I like the cut of your jib. It sounds right up our alley.
Yeah. Well, for anybody that doesn't know, like, they can reach out to me on Twitter and I can help them out. I'm more Oklahoma centric, But if you're looking for somebody on any of the platforms, Todd or Josh Smith. Josh Smith is running for chair, and he has done a lot for bringing people in, and he knows literally everybody. And if you reach out to him, he can get you in touch with the right people.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, we haven't actually reached out to him yet. Maybe we should say hi to him.
We definitely
Oh, yeah, he is. He's great. You guys really should.
I'm just getting lists of people, and we're just reaching out to people as soon as we think about it. Like, if it hits us, we're like, oh, okay, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, so Josh just got endorsed by Todd.
Oh, did he?
For chair, yeah. And but Josh is super cool. You guys should hit up Kokesh. Kokesh is super chill. Kim Ruff, I guarantee you could get her on.
She's on the list of people to reach out to already, because a lot of we've got at least a handful of our people that hang around and talk regularly that really like her and want us to try and talk to her.
Yep, she's great. She's super accessible, really easy to talk to.
She's in demand.
She is in demand. That is true. Yeah, she is. She got real popular real quick.
Yeah. I mean, I can't say I like her too,
Yeah.
I'm right on the train. I would be cool with that, but like, I mean, honestly, my dude is Dan this go, but like, I like everybody. There's nobody I hate.
Yeah, there's nobody that I dislike either. I like Dan. Dan's funny to me. Like, if you ever just talk to him, he is so funny.
Oh, we did an interview with him, and he's fantastic.
We're gonna get him back on here too. He actually has been really helpful to us. He's awesome. Just as a dude, he's somebody I'd hang out with, straight up.
Oh yeah.
Straight up hang out with him, unless it was D&D night, because apparently he doesn't play D&D.
What a loser.
Love you, Dan.
So I just have one more question, and I think we're going to go into the lightning round, and then I think we'll call it good from there, and hopefully we can do other interviews in the future to get more sweet info out of you.
Oh yeah, whenever you guys want, you just let me know.
So I was just going to ask if you guys have any planned initiatives for the coming season, if there's any kind of, I know you had mentioned I think it was the state fair, is that right?
Yep.
The state fair. I was wondering if there's anything else, any volunteer or activist activities that you guys are planning or anything like that you're aware of?
So once we get past convention, and because right now convention is our main goal right now. Once we get past that, getting the Oklahoma County rolling again, is going to be a big thing. Cleveland County just started their affiliate. Canadian County just started their affiliate. And so we'll have a lot of stuff going into those as far as local stuff with them. We're looking at we have a debate that's coming up. I'll send you the link to that. I don't know the date offhand, but we've got it that's coming up, I think, next week, and then we've got several more debates. As far as outreach, we're going to continue trying to expand the Liberty on Tap. We're going to do the state fairs, and we're going to look at introducing monthly meetings within different areas. So, like, I really want to do one in, like, the Plaza District, and then I want to do one, like, at OU, and we're also going to be working with Dylan to expand some on-campus stuff. I think that an on-campus outreach is going to be really big for us.
Everybody's saying campus is the way to go no matter where you are.
100%. I mean, it really is. But right now, everything's pretty much focused on the convention. I mean, we have a couple of other things going on, but the convention is the main thing, and then we're going to get into our season of kind of like the Pride festivals and things like that. We're also going to be backing a couple of initiatives and fighting against a couple of initiatives that are coming out. We'll be pretty active about that on social media, so you'll see that coming. You know, we have the recreational bill that's coming out here in Oklahoma that some of us are for, some of us are against. Well, here's the thing with the one in Oklahoma. Is
it worded bad?
It's worded terribly.
Oh, no. It's going to fail then. I hate it when they do that.
Yeah, the issue with this one is it's a pretty cool bill, but it has a pretty high tax on it, and they want to make it a constitutional amendment.
What's the tax rate they want to put on it?
I think it's like 31.
Oh my God!
Like, yeah, it was in the 30s.
Shit.
What I recall. Yeah.
Holy Jesus Christ!
Yeah, Pax, I'm sure you saw that discussion in the Discord.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Ow!
Yeah. Yeah, that adding that legislation deal to the Discord has been awesome. That was a really good idea.
What is that?
So within our Discord, yeah, we have there's another channel that was added that's just legislation, where we just talk legislation that's coming, legislation that's been proposed, etc. And it's been really cool, especially because, like, not everybody keeps up with those bills, you know, but we kind of got it all right there.
Maybe we should set something like that up.
We do.
What is ours?
I don't remember, but we do have it.
Oh, wait, we do.
We have so many channels.
We just have to encourage people to use that channel more. I think they're intimidated because, like, as soon as somebody posts something in there, everybody starts pulling it apart.
Right.
Some of the older dudes that have joined our server and stuff, they're like, holy crap, young people read bills? What's going on in here?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Get back to your bionicles.
Yeah, no shit. It's the Schoolhouse Rock thing. That's what got us into it.
Oh, man, heck yeah. That's a freaking nostalgia.
Yeah, just a bill on Capitol Hill.
God dang. Well, you want to hit the lightning round now? You ready for the lightning round, buddy?
Yeah, sure.
All right. You want to start it, or do you want me to start it? It's
you go right ahead.
Just a bunch of random questions that we've come up with over the time. We'll start with an easy one. What's your favorite color?
Gray.
Gray. Is that even a color, man?
The shade.
What kind of gray? Dark gray, light gray, any gray?
The gray that my hair is going.
Oh, no.
I'm hoping for that silver fox look, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, me too. That's like all debonair and shit.
Right.
The ladies like it, especially if you get those little, like, wrinkles by your eyes and stuff when you
Dude, you're the worst at the lightning rounds. You do this every...
I do this every time. No. Okay, you're supposed to... Okay, you ask one and I'll ask one and we'll just go back and forth to make it faster.
Have you ever played D&D before?
Once in high school.
Dude,
like it?
See, I'm so tempted to ask you about it, but that's not how this works.
No. Oh, okay, we're not allowed to ask you about it yet. We have to keep going. What's your favorite snack?
Ooh, almonds. Just roasted almonds.
I love almonds.
Favorite soft drink or mixed drink?
Root beer. I really like root beer.
There you go.
Yeah. What's your favorite recreational activity?
Shoot, I don't know. I go bowling. I play pool. Probably my favorite is I go to trivia night at a bunch of the different bars and hangouts around OKC. I really enjoy team trivia.
That's cool.
I know some people who do that. I've never done it before, but it does sound fun.
Yeah, I'm full of useless facts and knowledge, so it makes it.
Well, we'll just be the best of friends. Favorite book?
Oh, favorite book. I'm gonna have to say, man, this sounds so stupid, but I really like. God, this is so stupid. I really like John Green books. I really like The Fault in Our Stars and all of that goofy shit. Love them.
Oh, okay.
I know you're supposed to say Atlas Shrugged or something like that.
Whatever the heck you want. You say whatever you like. That's what this is for. Let's see. Crap, I forgot. Oh, wait. No, I remember. When you're stressed out, just push to your limits, what do you do to chill out? What is your method?
I really like to just go hang out with some of my buddies and have a beer and not think about whatever's going on. That's what I like. Whether it be at their house or
my dad used to call that the blue collar method.
A preferred beer. I'm really into. I'm bouncing right now between Lagunitas IPA and Blue Moon.
Oh, I love IPA.
Yeah,
I like Blue
man,
Moon.
IPA and Blue Moon. We got to go have a beer sometime.
Whenever you want, bro. You're in Moore. I'm sitting in Norman right now.
Well, my favorite bar is in Norman, so we'll have to hit that up sometime. It's a cigar lounge bar, has coffee. It's great.
Nice.
Shit.
Yeah, it's your turn.
We're both pretty bad at this.
We're really bad at this.
We're gonna have to work on it.
In the SCA, we call Norman Namron. Because we can't come up with a better name.
Well, I mean, do you have any questions for us?
Oh yeah, we always let you guys ask questions at the end. If you want to ask us anything, you can ask us right now, and we have to answer it. I mean, I want to know. You have a warrant, but
I want to know who's your favorite guest that you've had so far.
Fuck.
Mastre.
Yeah.
Mastre is so fucking cool.
I mean, I really liked Todd. Oh man, I really liked Todd. I would say the only reason I'm going to put Maj ahead of Todd is just because we had so many audio issues with Todd's thing, unfortunately, and that's not really his fault, but...
Yeah, it's not his fault. I have trauma involving that video, and it's not his fault.
It took us almost a month to, fix the audio up and get it to where it was presentable.
It just got...
Really?
Well, we weren't recording like we are now. We were, in our earlier... We hadn't done a lot of interviews before, and that one was just, the hell day.
Yeah.
Right.
And we were using Discord, and it kept farting out on us and shit. It was just annoying.
Oh, yeah, we use Discord for some of our convention chats and stuff, and I hate it. It crashes constantly.
I like it for group chats and, the servers and stuff, but
yeah.
DMs, as soon as we saw this, I was like, man, I'm paying for this shit. I'm not going back to doing that anymore.
Yeah.
Because you get, 2 free goes when you join. And we did 2 interviews in here, and I was just like, I'm not going back.
Right.
I'm not going back. I'll give blowjobs to afford it if I fucking have to. I'm not going back. We ruined the lightning round.
No.
Oh, wait, the questions. I'm sorry. We're back on that. I think I'm done.
You're out?
No, I think I'm done. I lost track of where we were at.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, wait, so back to the lightning round, and then I went, wait, we're done with that. You're asking questions.
Yeah. So that's your favorite guest. Have you ever had anybody that you just really regretted interviewing once you got started? You don't have to say a name.
Not yet, but there was someone that like I really dreaded it was gonna happen for. Like, I was absolutely terrified that we were gonna meet Dan, and I was gonna see him, and he was gonna be not legit, and I was gonna hate him. Like, I was terrified of it. It made me really upset.
I gotcha.
But no, nobody here has ever actually been like.
You haven't had like a bad interview?
Everybody's been great.
No, man.
Everyone is nice to us.
Like,
everyone is patient. The worst thing was like the Todd thing, and that wasn't even his fault. It was just like us learning, and it was just a bad, like hardware.
Right.
So like, if I had to pick one, it'd be that one, and it wouldn't be the guest. It'd just be the session.
Yeah. At first, interviews were going to be like a very, small, rare thing for us, but we just loved it so much because we're meeting so many awesome people, and none of them have been shitty, and it gives us so much, inspiration and hope that, there's actually people out here that want to fix shit. We're not alone.
Yeah, and we want to show that to people,
Exactly. But yeah, everybody so far has been great, and that's not just, like trying to stroke egos or anything.
Yeah,
it's
no, not a single person, because like I'm not a mincer of words, and I'm not gonna lie to make people sound good. I'm gonna freaking straight up say it. When I don't like something, I'm pretty vocal about it.
Right.
Sometimes I make memes about it and shit.
But yeah, unless you had any other questions for us, we can go right into the plugs. If you want to let everybody know your Twitter handle, any other things that you want to.
Well, I mean, he's already mentioned them throughout the whole thing, but do you want to like just do a quick run through for everybody and then?
Yeah. Kevin Hobbie at Hobbie Real, HOBBIE, OKLP at OKLP. Our Instagram one it's long. Our handle's OKLP, but I think that the actual tag is like Oklahoma Libertarian Party. Super long.
We'll get it down there.
Yeah, somebody already took the OKLP one.
Oh,
but
no.
So sad.
Check out Todd. Check out Josh Smith. Check out Chad Williams, Sharice, all the guys, the Libertarian Armed Bear Caucus. They're worth a follow on Twitter as well. Check out all the POTUS candidates. Hope to see you guys at convention. You can, I guess you guys will post that link too.
Yeah, you'll be able to get in down there and make your registration from, I hope, easily from the link.
Yep. Really, that's it, guys.
All right. Our final fucking question for the night is, if you had any single charity or like activist type thing or something like that, or even like an individual's GoFundMe or anything that you want to throw out there right now, what would it be?
Ronald McDonald House. I had a son, this is going to be super deep, but I had a son that was born with trisomy 18. It's a chronological disorder. He passed away after 3 months, and we were living in the Ronald McDonald House at the time because that was closer to us than the hospital. And I think that they just do a great thing. They're wonderful people. They were really great to me whenever I was there and provided a great service.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, wow.
I'm sorry to hear that happened. But thank you also, not just for sharing that, but for coming on here and being so cool and agreeing to maybe come back and stuff. And
I love being on here. You guys, whenever you guys want, you just let me know.
Oh, yeah. Man, you're going to regret saying that. We're going to harass the shit out of you now.
I like it. I'm down, whenever.
He likes it. I like it. I'm sure Paxton likes it. If you guys like it, get the F down in there and freaking click that like. Make sure that, like, if you have anything to say about this, if you disagree with us, if you want to give us some encouragement, if you want to tell us we're stupid fucktards so that we can, like, tell you you're wrong or whatever, get down in our comments section. We have a link below to join our Discord if you want to get involved with us and come either join the conversation or get involved in our budding tiny little activist group that we're trying to start. You know, get in there in the Discord. If you want to share this stuff, that would be amazing, because that's actually going to help us out a whole lot. And you know, you never know how long we're going to be here on YouTube, or where, you know, like maybe something will happen to BitChute. We have a new hub open, madlibertyparty.com. If you want to go there, you'll be able to see the links to all of our podcasts, all of the hosting places where everything's going to be and everything like that. And soon we're hoping to actually be hosting our videos straight there as well. You can log in and join us and submit posts and articles too if you want to be part of our liberty movement in that way. So like, get your asses in there and come see us. Until then, you guys be safe and y'all be free. This Mad Liberty Party is adjourned.